You know that weird feeling when the day starts, and somehow it already owns you? You wake up, you check your phone, a few messages need replies. One task turns into 5. Your to-do list looks like it went through a blender. By lunchtime, you've been busy for hours, but the important work is still sitting there, staring at you like a disappointed capybara. That is the problem. Organize Tomorrow Today is trying to solve. Jason Selk, Tom Bartow, and Matthew Rudy are not teaching a complicated productivity system. They are not asking you to become a machine, wake up at 3:47 a.m., color code your socks, or build a 72-tab spreadsheet called Life Optimization Master Dashboard. Their message is much simpler. Great performance is not built by doing everything. It is built by doing the right things, preparing before pressure hits, and training your mind to stay focused when most people drift. The book gives us 8 core habits for improving performance at work and in life. But underneath all of them is one powerful idea. Tomorrow gets easier when you organize it today. Let's break it down. The big idea. Busy is not the same as productive. Most people confuse movement with progress. They answer emails. They jump between tasks. They attend meetings. They check notifications. They do little things all day and feel exhausted by night. But exhaustion is not proof of effectiveness. The book makes a sharp distinction. Being busy means you are reacting. Being productive means you are preparing. Busy people let the day decide what matters. Productive people decide what matters before the day begins. That is why the first and most important habit in the book is also the title. 1. Organize Tomorrow Today. The authors introduce a simple practice called the OTT plan, which stands for Organize Tomorrow Today. The idea is almost laughably simple, which is probably why it works. Before tomorrow arrives, you write down your 3 most important tasks for tomorrow, not 10, not 20, just 3. These are the tasks that actually move your life, work, business, fitness, learning, or relationships forward. Then, from those 3, you choose your 1 absolute must. This is the task that matters most. If tomorrow becomes chaotic, if meetings explode, if your phone becomes a tiny rectangle of distraction, this one task still gets done. That is the power of the OTT plan. It turns a vague tomorrow into a clear mission. And the best part? It only takes about 5 minutes. The author suggests doing it between lunch and 3 p.m., when you still have enough mental energy to think clearly. But the exact timing matters less than the habit itself. The real point is this. Do not wait until tomorrow morning to figure out tomorrow. Because when the day begins, the world starts making requests. Your mind is already dealing with energy, emotion, deadlines, interruptions, and temptation. But when you plan tomorrow today, you give your brain a head start. You wake up with direction. No drama, no guessing, no what should I do first spiral. Just one calm capybara move. Start with the must. 2. Choose wisely. The power of the 3 and the 1. The OTT plan works because it respects how the human brain actually functions. Most people overload their mind and then blame themselves for not being disciplined enough. But your brain is not designed to carry 37 priorities at once. It needs focus. That is why the book emphasizes the number 3. 3 important tasks are enough to create meaningful progress, but not so many that your brain shuts down and escapes into snacks, scrolling, or research. And the 1 must is even more powerful, because 1 priority creates action. When you look at a list of 20 tasks, your brain panics. When you look at 1 clear next action, your brain can move. This is the difference between I need to grow my business, fix my schedule, improve my health, reply to people, learn a new skill, and somehow become a better human, and tomorrow, my must is to finish the first draft of the video script. One feels like fog, the other feels like a path. The authors also connect this to momentum. A body at rest tends to stay at rest. A body in motion tends to stay in motion. Productivity often does not begin with motivation. It begins with a small, clear start. So the question is not, how do I become super disciplined forever? The better question is, what is the one thing I can start tomorrow that will create momentum? That is how big change begins. not with a dramatic life transformation montage, but with one task chosen wisely and done consistently. 3. Maximize your time. Don't just manage it. The book makes another useful distinction. Amateurs manage time. Pros maximize time. Time management means trying to fit tasks into your schedule. Time maximization means protecting your best energy for your most important work. This matters because not all time is equal. One focused hour on your most valuable task can be worth more than 6 scattered hours of shallow work. The authors give 3 practical tools for maximizing time. Attack the open space. Open space is the tiny gap between things. A few minutes before a meeting, 2 minutes while waiting, 5 minutes between tasks. Most people waste these gaps automatically. They check social media, read random news, browse online, or fall into the infinite hole of just one quick thing. The book suggests using open space intentionally. Do small tasks in small gaps. Reply to a simple message. Confirm something. Check one thing. Handle a tiny admin task. But do not let small tasks invade your deep work time. This is a major upgrade. Instead of checking email all day, you give email a container. Instead of letting distractions leak everywhere, you put them in the small spaces where they belong. Prioritize the priorities. Even when you are doing small tasks, start with the most important version of that task. If you are answering emails, answer the most important email first. If you are reviewing documents, review the most important one first. If you are working on a large project, identify the first meaningful step and begin there. This prevents procrastination from hiding inside productivity, because sometimes we are technically working, but we are avoiding the task that actually matters. The book's message is simple. Do not just do work. Do the work that counts. Trim the fat. Most schedules become bloated. A task that should take 30 minutes takes 90. A meeting that should take 20 minutes eats the entire morning. A quick check becomes a full archaeological expedition through the internet. To fight this, decide in advance how long you will spend on something. Give the task a game clock. When the time is up, move on or make a conscious decision to continue. The point is not to become rigid. The point is to stop letting every task expand like dough in warm weather. Time maximization means treating your attention like a valuable asset, because it is. 4. Win your fight-throughs. One of the most useful concepts in the book is the fight-through. A fight-through is the moment when a new habit stops feeling exciting. At first, change feels amazing. You make a plan. You feel motivated. You imagine your future self glowing with discipline and success. This is the honeymoon phase. Then reality arrives. You get tired. You miss a day. You feel resistance. The habit no longer feels inspiring. It just feels inconvenient. That is the fight-through, and this is where most people lose. Not because they are weak, but because they misunderstand the moment. They think resistance means something is wrong. But resistance is not a sign that the habit is failing. Resistance is the test that turns a decision into a real habit. The book recommends recognizing the fight-through when it appears and asking 2 powerful questions. How will I feel if I win this fight-through? Imagine the feeling after you do the thing anyway. The pride, the relief, the quiet confidence, not loud motivation, just that calm inner voice saying, "Good, I showed up." How will I feel if I lose this fight-through? Not as a way to shame yourself, but as a way to be honest. Because skipping once often feels small in the moment. But repeated over time, those tiny losses create an identity. The goal is to make the future emotional cost visible now. Then the authors suggest visualizing where you could be in 5 years if you consistently won these small moments. That is the real magic. A fight-through is not about one workout, one writing session, one sales call, one study block, or one healthy meal. It is about the kind of person you are training yourself to become. Every time you win a fight-through, you vote for your future self. 5. Evaluate correctly. Stop measuring yourself like a perfectionist. Most people evaluate themselves in the least helpful way possible. They obsess over what went wrong. They ignore what went well. They judge their entire identity based on one bad day. This is called problem-centric thinking. And the book says it is natural. The brain is wired to notice threats and mistakes that may help you survive in the jungle. But it is not always great for building confidence, performance, or long-term growth. The authors suggest a better way. Evaluate effort and process, not just outcomes. This is a huge mindset shift. You cannot fully control results. You cannot control every market, client, algorithm, boss, teammate, competitor, or random surprise from the universe. But you can control your preparation, attitude, effort, focus, and consistency. That is why the book brings up legendary basketball coach John Wooden, who cared deeply about whether his players were doing their jobs correctly, not just whether they won a single game. Results matter, of course, but if you only judge yourself by results, you become emotionally unstable. A good result makes you overconfident. A bad result makes you discouraged. A process-based evaluation keeps you grounded. So at the end of the day, instead of asking, "Did everything go perfectly?" ask, "Did I complete my one must? Did I give honest effort? Did I protect my attention? What did I do well? What can I improve tomorrow? What is one lesson I can carry forward?" This creates a success log instead of a failure diary. You still face reality, you still improve, but you stop using self-evaluation as a weapon. That is how growth becomes sustainable. 6. Learn how to talk to yourself. Your self-talk matters more than you think. The way you speak to yourself becomes the atmosphere your mind lives in. If your inner voice is constantly saying, "I'm behind," "I always mess this up," "I'm not good at this," or "Why am I like this?" then your brain starts operating under that identity. The book argues that negative self-talk damages performance, and the solution is not fake positivity, it is intentional mental training. The authors recommend a short daily practice called the mental workout. It takes about 2 minutes and has 5 steps. Step 1. Center your breath. Slow your breathing. A calm breath tells your nervous system, "We are safe, we can focus." This is not mystical, it is practical. You cannot perform at your best when your mind is sprinting in 12 directions. Step 2. Use an identity statement. Create a short statement that reflects who you are becoming. For example, "I am focused, calm, and consistent," or "I do the most important thing first," or "I keep promises to myself." The key is to make it personal, believable, and connected to the identity you want to build. Step 3. Run a personal highlight reel. Visualize 3 things you did well recently. Then visualize 3 things you want to accomplish in the next 24 hours. This trains your brain to notice progress and prepare for action. You are not just thinking about goals. You are mentally rehearsing success. Step 4. Repeat the identity statement. Come back to the person you are choosing to become. Step 5. Center your breath. Again. Finish calm. This whole practice is simple, but the deeper message is powerful. Do not let your mind run on whatever script it picked up from stress, fear, or old patterns. Write a better script, then repeat it until it becomes familiar. 7. Learn how to talk with others. Performance is not just personal, it is relational. You can be talented, smart, and hardworking, but if you cannot communicate clearly, your impact stays limited. The book gives a simple communication framework. Write it before an important conversation, presentation, pitch, or meeting. Write down what matters. Do not trust yourself to just wing it, especially when the stakes are high. Winging it often leads to rambling, and rambling makes people stop listening. Great communicators are ruthless about clarity. They know what they want to say. They remove what does not matter. They make the message easy to follow. Slow it. Confidence has a pace. When people are nervous, they often speak too fast. They rush, over-explain, and fill every silence. But strong communication uses pauses. A pause gives the listener time to absorb the point. A pause also tells the room, "I am not desperate to fill the air." Slow down. Emphasize the key ideas. Repeat what matters. Not because people are dumb, but because people are busy, distracted, and human. Triangle. The authors recommend practicing important communication in 3 short sessions per day for 3 days. That is the communication triangle. The point is not to memorize like a robot. The point is to make your message familiar enough that you can deliver it naturally when pressure arrives. Preparation creates confidence. Confidence creates clarity. Clarity creates trust. 8. Become abnormal. The final big idea in the book is this. If you want average results, normal behavior is enough. If you want exceptional results, you need abnormal habits. This does not mean becoming extreme, weird, or obsessed in a destructive way. It means being willing to do what most people will not do. Most people do not plan tomorrow today. Most people do not choose one must. Most people do not win fight-throughs consistently. Most people do not evaluate effort honestly. Most people do not train their self-talk. Most people do not prepare their communication. So if you do those things, even quietly, you become abnormal in the best possible way. The book also warns about 3 traps that block abnormal performance. The trap of the viable excuse. A viable excuse is an excuse that sounds reasonable. I was tired. I was busy. I had a lot going on. I'll start when things calm down. And the dangerous thing is that these excuses are often true. That is why they are so seductive. But high performers do not build their lives around excuses. They build around ownership. Ownership does not mean everything is your fault. It means your next move is your responsibility. That one shift changes everything. Focusing on what you cannot control. A huge amount of frustration comes from trying to control the uncontrollable. Other people's opinions. The market. The algorithm. The weather. The past. Random timing. Someone else's mood. The book suggests separating what you can control from what you cannot. This sounds basic, but it is extremely powerful. When you are overwhelmed, make 2 columns. Can control, effort, preparation, attitude, schedule, response, follow-up, learning. Cannot control, outcomes, other people, luck, timing, past events. Then put your energy where it can actually do something. That is not passive. That is strategic. Problem-centric thinking. The final trap is focusing too much on problems. High performers do not ignore problems, but they do not build a home inside them either. They look for solution paths. A solution path is not always a perfect answer. It is the next useful step. And this is one of the most practical ideas in the book. Do not wait for the perfect solution. Find the next solution path. Small improvements compound. Tiny wins create belief. Momentum turns impossible-looking goals into daily actions. How to use this book. Today. Here is the simplest way to apply Organize Tomorrow today without overcomplicating it. Tonight, or sometime before tomorrow begins, write down 3 important tasks for tomorrow. Then circle 1. That is your must. When tomorrow starts, do that task as early as possible. Not after checking everything. Not after drifting through the morning. Not after letting the world vote on your priorities. Start with the must. At the end of the day, do a quick evaluation. What did I do well? Did I complete my must? What fight-through did I win? What needs to improve? What are tomorrow's 3 priorities? What is tomorrow's 1 must? That is it. No complicated system. Just a loop. Prepare. Execute. Evaluate. Improve. Repeat. This is how you stop living in reaction mode. This is how you build trust with yourself. This is how you slowly become the kind of person who does what matters, even when the day gets messy. Final takeaway. Organize Tomorrow. Today is really a book about winning before the battle begins. Not by controlling everything. Not by becoming perfect. Not by filling every minute with productivity theater. But by choosing what matters before distractions arrive. The core lesson is simple. Your future is shaped by what you prepare for, what you focus on, and what you repeatedly do when motivation fades. So here is the Lazy Capybaras version. Do not try to conquer your whole life tomorrow. Just choose 3 things. Pick 1 must. Win 1 fight through. Evaluate honestly. Then organize tomorrow again. Small, calm, consistent. That is how ordinary days become extraordinary results. And if this summary helped you see productivity in a simpler, calmer way, subscribe to the Lazy Capybaras for more book summaries that make big ideas easy to understand, easy to remember, and easy to actually use.